Welcome everyone to episode 5 of Around the Controller, your bi-weekly gaming not news podcast where we talk about games we've been playing and the topic of the show. This week's topic, English, is going to be why do games age? And joining me on this show today is the monocled monarch himself, King Kaiser.
Greetings and salutations.
Okay. I don't get that one, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, listen, I literally can't see without my glasses on, so I'm just gonna put these back.
Joining us in the third seat today is the reigning champion and voice of the people, Hio590.
I actually don't need to wear these. They just made me look smarter.
You piece of shit.
And rounding it out is our one and only legal counsel, the Dapper Dastard.
As long as this is the bit.
Hey, double glasses.
Double
He's too powerful.
Where the fuck are my shades, dude? God damn it.
Mine are in my car, so I got nothing on that one.
Fuck, let's restart. I gotta go out to my car.
I'm gonna join you in solidarity on this bit.
Also, these are aviators, so obligatory. I've got the need for speed. Top Gun reference for all
I
y'all.
was gonna say, real talk. Aviators look good on your frame, man.
That's actually kind of true. I agree with that. You rock
Quick
the aviators,
compliment.
Dapper.
Thank you, appreciate that.
All right.
Hi, don't be hating on a man's shades, all right?
Not the shades. I'm hating on the positivity.
All right, we're done with this.
All right, let's get into it. Kaiser, what have you been playing the past couple weeks?
A lot of The Last of Us Part 2, but apparently not enough because goddamn, this game is long. Sean Layden, you're 100% right. This game should be about 10 hours shorter. It's not bad. It's not. The game is constantly doing stuff that I enjoy. Like, there's never a dull moment, and there's like, it seems like
that, but that's okay.
there's so many set piece moments in this game that I keep like, holy shit, now it's this person. Oh my, and now I'm meeting these people. Now this is happening. Oh my, I just fell through the roof of another building, and now there's, oh my God, like that is great. But there's been 3 times now where your character will see something off in the distance and be like, okay, I'm not too far. And then it will literally take me 2 hours to get there. And like, I get the realism of that, of like, hey, you're crossing this many city blocks in like a city that's super hostile to be in. But man, oh man, that's just too long. It's been 3 times in a row where I'm like, and 2 of the times you're getting to the same spot. It's like, oh, we got to go back to this place. Cool. And it still somehow takes another 3 hours. And you're like, God, Jesus, just get to the place. Just get to the place, guys. But anyways.
I don't disagree with any of that part right there. I haven't even gotten to the ones I think you're talking about.
I'm sure you haven't. You would know 100% what I'm talking about.
I had a couple of them, but I haven't gone back to somewhere I've been, so that would be a new one.
Yeah, but it won't be. It's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you come at it from a different angle, so they're at least not making you tread through the same shit, but it doesn't feel
very much like different
more
shit.
Rewarding. Yeah. I mean, no, it does. Like you're getting new stuff, and like the game is constantly introducing stuff, which is cool, but like I just wish it was 10 hours shorter, because then I would be done with it and I wouldn't feel pressure to try and finish another 5 hours tonight, because I'm not going to do that. Rip.
Not with that attitude.
It's true.
No.
Leave the negative attitude away, man. Just plow through it. The rest of the world doesn't matter. You don't have other obligations. It's fine.
That's unfortunate. Anybody else?
Oh, you don't? That's it?
That's
okay.
I haven't even played League of Legends in like 2 weeks. So
yeah. All right. Io, what have you been playing? This is your first
League of
first
Legends,
time on the
funnily
show.
enough, now that Kaiser mentioned it, I've been playing a lot of League of Legends, haven't I? Playing RuneScape right now. Just started I was watching Mizkif play Minecraft. He was doing his first time playing it, a hardcore playthrough, died almost 100 times and didn't beat the game, so he had to gift himself 1,000 subs, which was fun. And I was like, man, I want to play some Minecraft now. Started up a Minecraft hardcore playthrough with a buddy, and we've played like 2 hours in like a week, and it's like, yeah, that's about where I'm at with Minecraft.
Yeah.
Are you just a server with you two guys or anyone else?
Yeah, just the two of us.
Any other games?
Mm-mm.
It's just all these live
I-
service games. Hayo, come on.
I played APB. I haven't played it since like 2015. I opened that up, played for 20 minutes, but that's another live service game.
APB.
All Points Bulletin. It's a free game on Steam. It's like a cheap
Heard of that?
GTA.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Huh.
Okay. I've heard the name. I didn't know what it was though.
It's got 3 letters, you know. It's GTA, APB. There you go.
I think it's actually called APB Reloaded, but
Same.
Yeah.
Who
Nobody
needs the
calls it that,
subtitle?
yeah.
Like, you don't need that shit.
exactly 3 letters. That's all you need.
All right, Dapper, what have you been playing?
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and pretty much just Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition,
Now,
and I am loving it.
as of around this time yesterday, you were 60 hours into Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
That is correct.
How many
Now,
hours
like-
are you in today?
I mean, saying that I didn't play any last night and I played for like a half an hour, I made myself pizza like a couple hours ago, 60 and a half hours.
Oh man, I was really expecting it to be like 72.
Another big jump.
I'm working again, so I have to actually go
Oh.
to bed at reasonable times and spend my days doing work. So
Rip.
That's a
I will probably
That's a
get to
bummer.
70 hours tomorrow, or by Sunday I will, but not on a Thursday night.
I guess that just leaves me then, huh?
Mhm.
So I've been playing a few games. First one is Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Oh, I did play that. I played 2 hours of that. Really good. Love it.
Yeah, I played through the whole thing. Really enjoyed it. When we eventually get to that book club video, we'll dive more into it. But holy shit, was that like just fun, smooth? Like the movement was super smooth. I had some technical difficulties with the game, but nothing like terrible. But oh man, go on Game Pass, spend $1 for the first month, and go play Ori and Will of the Wisps. 100% worth it. All of your time.
It is.
And
It is really good.
It's
The
exactly
game
the right
controlled
length
super well.
too. Exactly the right
Yeah.
length.
It's a lot of fun.
Take notes, Naughty
Unlike
Dog.
the other one I've been playing a little bit recently is The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not super far in. I think I'm 12-ish hours into the game.
What day are you on?
I want to say day 3?
Okay.
I think it might be day 4.
You're not on day 4.
It's fair enough.
Rusty Shackelford, what's up?
That's fair
Check
enough.
that out.
Earth. How close to the moon into crashing into Earth?
I mean, I thought I was
you
on-
have?
I thought
I
I was
know.
on day 2 like a lot earlier than I was on day 2. And then it's like, oh no, they have giant text on the screen that says day 2. I definitely got day 2. I just can't remember.
Day 1 is super long. I'll say that.
Day
for
1's really
sure.
long. 2 and 3, I think, were pretty reasonable. I'm actually pretty positive I'm on 4 now. I'll have to look, but I think I'm on 4. I'm probably not. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm like not quite halfway through, I think. And it's
Yeah.
dragging a little bit, but I'm having fun. I don't hate it. I don't love it at this point. Open to having my mind changed either direction. Let's see. Other games I've been playing.
Really quick, shout out to Rusty Shacky for giving us a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rusty.
Yeah.
Reminder to anyone else tuning in or on the YouTube videos, if you're on YouTube, come over to the Twitch channel and toss your Twitch Prime subscription to us that you're not using. Otherwise, Jeff Bezos gets it. That guy's a dick.
He's a dude.
Other games I've been playing,
Does
I started Telltale Batman before Last of Us to try. I thought I was going to be able to finish it before Last of Us 2 came out. I was wrong, so I got like 3/4 of the way through that game. Pausing
Oh,
while I
wow.
finish Last of Us, but most of the way through Telltale Batman. It's pretty fun. The engine sucks balls. Like, holy moly. This is the
Yeah, what,
first...
Their first game came out in what, 2009?
Oh, I don't know.
I almost want to say 2009, even though I know it can't be that old.
Yeah, I don't know. This
And
is
it's
the
the
first.
same engine.
It's the same engine. This is the first Telltale game I've played.
What?
Yeah, it's the first one I've touched. So
Okay.
I got it.
mean-
I got it for like $3 from like either. No, I got the physical one, so it must have been from GameStop. They had like a crazy used
man.
games sale, and I just picked it up. But yeah,
That's wild.
it's pretty fun. There's definitely a lot of jank. Like
Oh yeah, dude.
I have had a lot of times where the dialogue will just not happen.
Yeah, I've heard that game is super buggy.
Yeah, dialogue didn't
and-
happen a few times. Sometimes the character models just didn't pop into the scene, so they were just talking, the camera was panning, and fucking nothing was happening.
Yeah, I imagine Telltale would like to patch that game and make it better, but they
They
are
don't
gone.
exist.
Why don't they?
Let me tell you, they had 4 opportunities to patch this game when they released each fucking episode. And you know what? It didn't get better. All of them were
that's
buggy.
true. Maybe
So,
that's why they
nah.
died.
And the really funny thing is, like, when you log on, or sorry, not log on, when you start Telltale Batman, it, like, asks you to make, like, a Telltale account. And I was like, I'm not gonna do this.
Oh, really?
But
Oh,
this shouldn't work.
I know why. Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is dumb. So I didn't do it. I didn't even try. I don't imagine it works since they don't exist anymore, really.
That's a good question, because I'll spoil you why they asked for that. Basically, at the end of the game, they show you what choices you picked versus what.
They still do that, even though I don't log in.
Oh well, then basically, I think if you log in, it can save your choices
Yeah,
into
it's
the
probably
database.
not saving your choices then.
Yeah.
Adding them to the composite.
That's fine. I still get the composite, so I see what other people picked. I thought I was
Then there's really no reason to make a Telltale account.
no. I thought I was like being cool and picking not normal choices. No, I'm usually picking the normal ones. There's a few I differed from so far, but it's a cool concept. I wish the engine didn't suck and that they stayed around, but that's a bummer.
Yeah, let somebody else do it.
Yeah, another game I played. I just tried this one out. I finally gave Valorant a fair shot.
Oh,
I've got some opinions.
Yeah, I don't dislike it, but I also don't really like it. I haven't played much CS:GO. Didn't really get into CS:GO, but I did play Overwatch a lot, and it is a nice middle ground between the two. And man, they don't teach people how to play that game at all. Cause like I got on and I'm just like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what any of this stuff does.
It's actually funny you say that. I was talking to Rusty Shecky in the chat recently about games that don't do the best job at initiating their
They don't onboard characters.
Players. Yeah.
Onboard players well, yeah.
It can be very frustrating. In today's age when there are so many games that you can just hop in and have a good time with, it is frustrating to have that barrier to entry. When I was younger, I would 100% put up with that and try and learn how to play again. Like, you would never in a billion years get me to play League of Legends now, and that's all I have to say on that.
Oh, to get into League of Legends as a new player? Oh, fuck no, dude. There's like 150 or 60 characters. Like, get fucked.
Yeah, I still don't even know some of it. Like, if there's like 5 new champions, I have no idea what to do. But
I guess my feelings on Valorant are, if my friends are playing it, I'll play with them as just a way to socialize. But like, I'm not gonna go play Valorant on my own. It's not good enough for that.
He's more of a social gamer.
For Valorant, yeah. Like League, I'll go and play a game of League on my own. That's fine. But I don't think I'm gonna enjoy Valorant enough for that. And like Overwatch, I did play on my own most of the time.
Fair.
So, just it's not catching me. And it's the only other game we've been playing is League, but we talk about that every week. So, yep, League of Legends, it's crack cocaine.
Feels good to be clean.
Fuck you.
See how fucking long that lasts, Zach.
Hey man, I gotta finish this game, and then I got another week and a half away.
See, you're not gonna finish it tonight, so you might as well play some games of League with us.
Dude.
Right after the show, we'll play some ARAMs.
That's not gonna happen.
Uh,
I actually have to watch a couple episodes of Korra, which is
Mm.
oh,
fun.
Korra. Love me some
but,
Korra.
but about to finish season 3 tonight, which is I think most people would agree one of the best seasons of that show. So
Dude, I love
Hmm?
Korra. Korra was great. Okay.
I know.
So
Do you disagree? Korra season
No,
3?
no, no. We're here to talk about video games. We'll talk about Korra once we're finished.
Okay.
Talk about video games.
All right.
speaking of talking about video games, let's move on to our topic of the week. Our topic of the week is, why do games age, poorly or well? So
One answer. Time. Boom. Got him.
Dumb joke. Keep it moving.
I don't know why I didn't expect that, but I
Yeah.
didn't. All right. So there are games from the 80s, the 90s, the early aughts that even now all of us will go back, play, say they're fantastic, or be like, yeah, it's a really good game. It's a little rough around the edges now, but like it's really good. Other games such as GoldenEye 64 age horribly. They're literally some of the worst things to play. Period. Like, you can play terrible games from that period, and they might actually be better than GoldenEye now, just because of how poorly GoldenEye ages. So I wanted to just kind of talk about, what do we think makes a game age well versus poorly? Is it art? Is it voice acting? Is it controls? Is it everything under the sun? And maybe get like a few examples of games we think age well and games we think just shouldn't ever be played again if you didn't play them at the time. I want to start off with a topic that we brought up in our Discord when we first kind of proposed this topic. One of the first things we put was graphics. So let's talk about graphics, because this is one where I don't think most graphics actually affect how a game ages. There are exceptions.
I agree 100% with you on that, except for PlayStation 1 and 64 era. That console generation, the graphics have aged like dog shit. PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, it gets a little bit better, but
See, I don't even agree with that. I think a lot of the older games, some of the shitty graphics are kind of like, it's charming. Like Banjo and Mario 64 both have awful graphics, but I don't think the graphics make the game feel any like older than it is or unplayable.
and to be fair, I think my counter to that is nostalgia a little bit.
I to be fair, I did not play Banjo until like a year ago,
Oh shit.
and still enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah, I feel like it hasn't aged. 3D platformer collectathon games as a whole have not aged super well.
See, I think the exception to that is Mario 64, though. Mario 64 is still great.
Are you trying to claim
Yes.
Donkey Kong? Are you trying to claim Donkey Kong 64 doesn't age well?
I think
fun
that's
fact.
exactly what he's saying.
No, it doesn't.
Counter fun fact. It's fine. I played it in college. I played it in college like 5 or so years ago. Like, there are some mini games that are unbearable and some camera controls that don't work, but it's not that bad. It's still
But
fun.
even like going back to the N64 era, like I honestly think like Pokemon Snap kind of ages pretty okay. I think it's a lot more about what the graphics for a game were trying to accomplish than the graphics for but yeah, I think like graphics that were trying to be realistic at the time aged really badly. Whereas graphics
Absolutely.
that were like, oh, this is a cartoony thing, like this is Banjo or Mario or like Conker's Bad Fur Day or something.
Case in point, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. That game has aged like a fine wine graphically. I'll never forgive the last like third of that game because it's really boring, but there it is.
Yeah, as someone who doesn't put a huge priority on graphics, like again, as you know, I mostly play Nintendo games, which is the least graphically competent system. Having outdated graphics doesn't really cause me to think a game's age badly. Because again, I mostly like understand that was the best they could do at the time. So it's like, yeah, it obviously looks bad in comparison, but that's not usually on the top of my head when I'm thinking, has this game aged well, or can I still enjoy this today? I usually don't care what the graphics look like. I will admit though that yes, games that try to look realistic do look more like an old GTA game looks more ass than an old Mario or Legend of Zelda
Yeah,
game.
I was actually going to bring that up as an example. Like, I think, like, GTA 3, GTA Vice City, San Andreas, I think graphically aged worse than Super Mario 64 or Donkey Kong 64.
I would say that 100%.
That run animation in Vice City, I can still see it now. Just like,
It's fucking awful.
yeah,
What about 2D graphics?
always perfect, never bad. End of story. Wait, here's the thing: if by 2D graphics you mean pixel art,
I mean 2D in general.
Oh well, then I mean, if it's like,
is there anything 2D that's not pixel art?
Oh, for sure.
There's some like more illustrated games.
I mean, like we could talk about like Klonoa, like the 2.5D games, or
Tomba.
Fucking Tonva. We could talk about. I mean, technically, most fighting games are in 2D, even though nowadays they are all rendered in 3D. Like we could talk Tekken 1, which looks like fucking ass.
Yeah, Tekken 1 does look like ass, but I wouldn't even say it ages terribly though. It just looks like butt, but still fun. Like Tekken 3 was still PS1 era. It doesn't look good, but like,
I mean, if we're talking like Metroidvania 2D, then that shit ages great.
Yeah.
Like I'll go back and play like old Metroid or Metroid Fusion, and that still looks just fine for me. I don't even like. Yeah, obviously it's not as good as a modern Metroidvania game's gonna look, but it's still like no problem whatsoever for me to go pick up Metroid Fusion and beat it in 2 hours again.
Ian said Atari era graphics are trash. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think that's where we go back.
They really called it the 2-bit era. Like
that's where we really go back to where are the limits, because like there are some Atari games that even to this day I really enjoy. They're few and far between, I'm not gonna lie. Game design has moved up since then. But I think this will be a good transition to another area too, is I think the type of gameplay has a lot to do with how a game ages too. So there are a lot of very simple games on Atari that have not aged. Like if you think about it, really Pong has not aged. Pong is still Pong. It's still fun. It's not the 10 out of 10 world-breaking experience that it was when it came out, but still there.
My statement is just Shadow in the chat says answer graphics and advancements in gameplay, which literally is like I was just about to say, I was like, yeah, I mean technically Pong hasn't aged, but like I'm not gonna go back and play Pong. It's not engaging enough at this point in time. You know, we've tasted something so much better and fulfilling. I don't want to go back and do that.
But have you played Pong Quest?
I almost made the Pong Quest joke. Thank you for making it. No, because unfortunately I heard it's not that great, which super bums me out.
I mean, let's be real. It's Pong with RPG elements.
Yeah. You're totally right on that.
But
here's the thing. Rusty Shackelford in the chat says Diablo 2 is my top aged like fine wine game. Rusty, I have played probably 300 plus hours of Diablo 2. I fucking love that game. I don't think any of you all have played this, right?
I haven't played.
Correct.
I've only played Diablo 3.
Yeah.
I played Torchlight, but that's not the same.
I'll say this. I've not been able to get a single person who has not played Diablo 2 to come back and play Diablo 2. And that isn't, that is a problem of the game. As much as I love that game, it's, if you can't entice people to play it, then it's got a problem. Much like RuneScape. Haya, do you want to talk about RuneScape?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Haya, for someone who plays an extremely old game, that one would definitely consider to have outdated graphics. Do the graphics of RuneScape bother you since it's so, late 90s?
So
play RuneScape 3 and everything will be better, right?
RuneScape, the old school RuneScape I'm playing came from the 2007 version. There was like a RuneScape 2.5 where they gave it the HD update. which I played. There were some. Comparatively, you were like, "Holy shit!"
You're right. As someone who made a video on RuneScape recently, God, that game looks so bad. It looks so bad.
It really doesn't. The 2.5 update was okay. Sometimes I was like, I'm in the mood for this. Sometimes I wasn't. I didn't like the way they changed the clothes. It got too busy for my tastes. And then RuneScape 3 is a whole different thing. When I play RuneScape, when I play League, when I play other games, I actually turn the graphics way down because I prefer less graphical fidelity. Like I'm playing old school right now. And like I was playing with a buddy and he's like, wait, why does your stuff look like worse than me? Like, why don't you have the ground details and whatnot? I'm like, I don't like playing like with the little bits of dirt and stuff and like the low key shading between the polygons and whatnot. I prefer games kind of when they're lower. Maybe it's just because my computer can actually run them.
I was gonna say, is this because this is what you prefer, or because your computer can't run?
But even when I'm watching people, I'm like, man, this looks kind of gross. It looks a little busy. I don't like when it's busy, which is why I don't like a lot of 2D polygon or pixel art games. It just feels very, very busy when I'm looking at them. I can look at Mario. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. You know, I look at The Last of Us 2 or something. I'm like, okay, that's just real life. But like everything else is like a weird kind of uncanny valley for me when I'm like, I can't like get dizzy. Even Minecraft. Like if the graphics are, Minecraft is weird. I get dizzy playing Minecraft if the graphics are like.
Do you download those like super HD texture packs and then just that's a big no from you?
No, I hate it. I look at it and it makes me sick to my stomach, which is a little weird.
This is a question because I know almost nothing about RuneScape. In the past. You said the one you're playing is based on a 2007 version of the game?
Correct.
In the past 13 years, has the gameplay changed? Or is the gameplay loop still the same and it's just, it doesn't ever get worse?
They've added different. So there's actually, they changed. No. The gameplay loop is still the same. I think even in RuneScape 3, you're still doing the exact same stuff. It's just the pure kind of grindy game. It's called like an MMORPG. There's not even a whole lot of like multiplayer stuff you can do if you look at the game as a whole. Like I can play this game like not offline, but I can turn off my friends list, turn off public chat, and the game doesn't change for me at all. You know, most of the stuff I'm doing is pretty much a solo player experience. But it's all level up your skills, and maybe the way you do that has changed a teeny tiny bit. At like the highest levels, but you know, you click on the rock, you get the rock, your mining goes up. That's the game.
And that ages into modern times without you feeling any like, man, this is old and I don't want to play this anymore?
Kaiser, go ahead. What do you want to say? I see you're waving the fucking force of
music. Not enjoyable to play. It's so not enjoyable to play.
No, it's a grindy game. If you want to play a game and just grind, you could pick it up and you can just, it's very lax. Just all right, I could turn off my brain. I don't have to strategize like in League. I don't have to be stressed and fatigued playing The Last of Us, where it's not a jump scare around every corner, but it's like it's intense. You know, it's like porn gore, not gore porn, essentially.
Okay, you lost me at that point.
No, it's like a feel bad. It's like you jack off feeling bad and sad. That's The Last of Us.
Okay.
And it's just constantly like, ugh, no, they're dead and I might die. And oh, look how I eviscerated this guy. Oh, they're gurgling as I'm killing them. It's like, fuck, man. I just want to click on some rocks. Like, god damn.
Click on some 2 polygon rocks.
I want to click on some 2 polygon rocks, some 2 polygon logs, and I want to make a fire and cook. It's like, yes, okay.
And go up against Fighting Polygon Team. That's it. RuneScape is fucking Fighting Polygon Team, the game. That's my joke.
And it's fucking the most fun it's ever been.
Which is not very.
All right, so far we have graphics that try to be realistic, definitely age a game, right? And then some graphics overall can age a game, but I think that's collectively we agree that when a game tries to be realistic, that's the worst type of aging. Okay.
Yeah, graphically, that's a in 5 years this game will not look as good as it does now.
Yeah.
Period.
Are there any, I guess, specific gameplay elements that you guys think have kind of come and you know, we played them on that Super Nintendo or PS1 era, and boy, do we never want to touch that type of gameplay ever again.
I mean, apart from the 3D platforming collectathon that I talked about, it is interesting to me that rhythm games have died super hard. Like,
That's true, yeah.
fucking, they're dead.
Well,
Nobody can make a rhythm game.
Yeah, Beat
Here's the thing.
Saber.
True, but I think that succeeds on being a VR game. I don't think I'd play Beat Saber if it wasn't in VR, which like that would defeat the whole purpose of the game.
Well, yeah, the gimmick is VR.
So
True.
But
like,
great, yeah.
I guess Harmonix is making what's their
The DJ.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of it.
I keep
I
wanting to
think
call it
part of the
Mixer, but that's just
problem-
a sad joke.
I think part of the problem with rhythm games is that the need for expensive peripherals with Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and DDR, the need for costly, expensive peripherals that you would use for literally just one game or one game series made that like super untenable over time. I think it's the biggest problem there. Like if more things like Elite Beat Agents or us were like the mainline rhythm games, they'd probably survive longer because those don't need me to spend an extra, $60 on an extra thing that I can't use for anything else besides those people who beat Dark Souls on Guitar Hero guitars, but that's not the intended use of a Guitar Hero guitar.
So it's more the peripherals than the actual gameplay itself.
Yeah, I don't think rhythm games aged badly. I think they became super reliant on peripherals, and that died.
I think I agree with you on that one, because like the rhythm games that I have been playing are either the free ones or it's like, oh, I already have VR, I'll have Beat Saber, and then I played Harmonix VR game, which wasn't very good. Audica was the VR, and RK fan in the chat, thank you. It was Fuser is the one that Harmonix is working on right now.
I did get to play that at PAX East this year. It's fun. I don't think it's going to succeed, but
is it going to require peripherals?
No, that's the good part.
Oh, okay, that's
that's probably what they're banking on is not having people, but it just
come back to this after Kingdom Hearts Melody of Whatever comes out.
No, can we just pretend that game doesn't exist? Like,
I'm fine with that.
All right, so we got quote unquote realistic graphics. We got peripherals, definitely age games out. Which, I didn't even think about it. Peripherals have pretty much died since the Wii era.
Thank God, dude.
Thank God. I'll say it.
Yeah, they sort of suck. Like,
we've got
it has to be a really. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Ring Fit Adventure is a good example, but that's also an exercise tool.
Yep.
So it's like, even that I can really just use it to work out without the game.
Yeah, that's very true. Any other gameplay elements you guys can think of that just, when you see it, you're just like, fuck, this is old, I don't want to touch this?
Quick time events.
Ooh,
I think
that's a good one.
People are kind of getting to the point where we're like, you see a quick time event in a game, and you're like, didn't we do this already? Like
yeah,
we
did. I think we did kill that like early 2000s, like Kingdom Hearts 2 era. We did kind of kill that, didn't we?
Well, Kingdom Hearts made it popular, I think, actually.
Yeah, well, that's true.
And then in the following 5 years, fucking everyone did quick time events.
Everyone. God of War was pretty much built on it. The Force Unleashed was quick time events.
Yeah.
I was talking with Jason, talking about The Last of Us 2. I was like, this is just like an HD, like early 2000s game.
With the quick time events, I agree on that one.
Yeah, because it's like a prettier quick time event, and maybe it's a teeny tiny bit more involved, but it's just, it feels like quick time events. They were trying to, I think that was early game storytelling. Like they weren't great at telling stories, so they kind of used quick time events to circumvent some of that, or maybe the gameplay wasn't quite up to snuff. You were just mashing X until a quick time event. It was like, ooh, I gotta press triangle. I don't press that one too much. I gotta press circle. I didn't even know that button existed, And it was cool the first few times. You're like, oh, this is sick. I'm cut that guy's legs off and then shove them in his eyeballs, and then you do it 120 more times, and you're like, I don't want to play this anymore or ever again.
I do feel bad because there are a lot of games that I feel like QuickTime events got like a bad word for, and there was a lot of games that I enjoyed them in, but like it's such a fine line. Like you're saying, like if they get used like repeatedly, then like get out of here. I'm done with that. And if it does happen where like your player instantly dies from a QuickTime event, you need to like fuck. You're done. Don't ever do that shit.
Yeah,
like, that shit's miserable.
Some of that shit's kind of annoying for me for Last of Us Part 2. I'm not gonna.
If they take damage, and like the scene keeps going, I'm fine with it. Like
Heavy Rain.
Until Dawn, a great example. That game is pretty much half of that game is QuickTime events, but people fucking love it because it's great. They're used well.
And same for the Telltale games. Having played Batman, like a lot of that's QuickTime events.
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
and if you fail stuff, it doesn't usually just be like you're dead. It changes the story or changes how it is portrayed instead of just fucking like killing you, being like, haha, restart from 20 minutes ago, bitch.
Reliant K fan in the chat linked a Heavy Rain sequence, and I almost said Heavy Rain, and I was like, I don't want to get into talking about Heavy Rain because the controls in that game are dog shit.
I think that's a game that has way too many QuickTime shit.
Yeah. That game.
Down.
Fun fact: this game has aged terribly, and I really enjoyed it when it came out. I thought the story was super interesting. I hadn't seen something like that in a video game, but man, I will never in a billion years go back to play that game because literally the start sequence, I think it's something crazy like you have to push R2 to walk. I could be totally wrong, but it's like something where I was like, even at the time, I remember playing it and being like, "Are you serious? What? Why can't I just push forward to go?" And like my friend was trying to explain, I was like, "This is ass.
This is dumb."
But I didn't pay for this game. This is his game, and and also the graphics at the time were supposed to be hyper realistic, and they look bad now.
Yeah, the graphics being realistic is definitely a thing that ages out faster than anything else, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I do think you mentioned in there a very good point, which is controls.
Yeah,
I think controls, for me personally, age a game more than almost anything else you can do in a video game.
And that's the one where you want to bring up the game, since we want to bring in GoldenEye.
Yeah, GoldenEye. Even I haven't gone back to play it, but what is it? Metroid Prime, the first ones where it's on the GameCube controller, and instead of having a dual analog, which is what we're so used to now, they made that game have a lock-on system, which I talked about this in a video where I was like, I don't know if that would work or if that would feel comfortable nowadays, but I also don't know if I'd hate it. Like,
I feel like if they were to remaster that game, it would have.
They did actually.
No, I mean sorry, I meant remaster on a modern console
Switch?
and not on Wii.
Yeah.
I feel like if they did it now, they would go dual analog because that's what they do. Or oh god, I hope they don't do motion controls. They might do motion controls, like they do with Splatoon.
They did spend a year doing it, developing the motion controls for Metroid Prime 3. So let's hope they don't.
Yeah, well, and I could see them using the ones from like Splatoon or something.
Oh, just the gyro controls?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with those.
What are gyro controls, by the way? I've never played Splatoon.
Well, in Greece, they call them Euro controls, but basically...
Hey, good job.
But thank you. But basically, instead of moving around like this, it's just like if I'm holding the controller and I tilt the controller up, you look up a little bit.
Oh, despise that. That sounds like awful. Bad. Don't like.
Most people don't enjoy it.
Yeah, most people don't enjoy them, but I think actually most of the high-level Splatoon people actually use them.
Yeah,
weirdly enough.
People can suck my dick, dude. What the fuck? They're only good at it because they're fucking. I don't know.
You sound like 8-Ball complaining about people using mouse and keyboard. He's like, no, I play controller. I'm better. And I'm like, dude, just...
with what? Let's clarify on the type of game that you.
8-Ball believes that he can play at the same level on first-person shooter games.
Oh, get the
controller.
If 8-Ball, if you're in the chat, fucking leave.
He's not.
Taking
You
that
won't watch
softball
this.
tonight.
Is so wrong. I think controls. Just to bring up a very, very, very recent control thing, Last of Us Part 2. Run is still not pushing down on the left thumbstick.
What do you have to press?
It's still L1.
Oh, I don't mind that. I hate clicking the thumbstick.
Oh, I would much rather fucking click the thumbstick, dude. L1, no. Just put it on the thumbstick. Everything's
L1
like that.
is better than X. I think
Well-
Halo Reach, when they made it your run equipment, it was like, no, maybe not Reach. Whatever one had equipment as your run, it was like, what the fuck is this?
One of them which had equipment was Sprint was one of the power-ups you could get. That
Yeah,
is Reach, I think. That is Reach.
that was it was like I was like every game I've played up until this point, run is on my left hand, and now I'm
Yeah.
pressing a button instead of like grenade or shoot or flashlight. It's like what the
When
fuck?
they made Sprint an armor upgrade, it was a really weird. It made controls really weird.
That's very weird. That's just dumb. But
I'm trying to think. Okay, here's the thing. We talked about this in the pre-show, but Shadow of the Colossus is a game that I think most people remember extremely fondly, and I think the controls for it have not aged as well as people would like to believe that they have.
I believe that. I haven't touched Shadow of the Colossus in like 8 or 9 years, probably. But
you do have to like kind of Falcon claw the controller, which like personally I don't. It doesn't bother me so much, but like there is a point where I'm like, I look down at my hands and I'm like, why am I holding my controller like this right now? This doesn't make any sense.
Baby.
Because I need to be hitting 3 of the face buttons and like 1 of the shoulder buttons. And I'm like, this is who designed this control scheme? Like, what are you thinking, bud?
oh, there's another more recent game that had that. I can't think.
Yeah.
It can't come to mind. But I think there's even some other games. I'm not trying to dunk on Naughty Dog. I've just been playing a lot of their games recently. But the Uncharted games, while better with the remaster, I think the shooting controls and just really honing in how much to move the the reticle with your controller. I think auto aim has changed a lot of things on console over the years. Because like old consoles, that shit'll just pop to a head and you're good to go. Whereas I think a lot of the newer ones are a lot more nuanced than that. Like they won't just instant pop to heads for you to kill people. And Naughty Dog games, especially Last of Us Part 2 included, this is probably the shooting is the thing I hate the most about that game so far. Is it's just bad.
One control scheme mechanic that I just remembered is completely dead, and thank God, is tank controls.
Oh.
Yeah, Resident Evil tank controls.
Yeah, man.
What do you mean by that?
Like you can't turn quickly, and you can't like move and turn.
Okay,
at
yeah,
the same time.
I gotcha.
That shit is.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It's the problem where like I feel like that it's not a terrible idea because it can 100% like making your character move slowly adds so much tension to a horror game. But man, oh man, it feels so awkward to play nowadays because we're like, oh yeah, I'm used to just being able to. I'm Master Chief. Look at me. I'm going over here. I'm going over there.
I'm Master Chief.
I'm Master Chief.
He's a good take right there. That's the only thing you like.
Also, point and click adventure games. They're dead.
Not entirely.
Well, enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
a point and click adventure game that is like relevant.
Broken
Disco
Age
Elysium.
and Disco
No,
Elysium.
Doesn't work. Disco Elysium, I'll give you. Broken Age, no.
This is like the past 5 years.
Yeah, but I don't think people like that game enough.
Not because it was a point and click adventure game.
You know what? Fair point.
I feel like the walking sim has replaced the point and click adventure game.
That's true.
I think that's actually a really good point.
And sort of like
It's an evolution.
the relaxed way to do a story laden game.
Yeah.
It makes you do a little more than point and click, but it still doesn't place gameplay elements in the game that's story centric.
Ian is right. He says Disco Elysium is a CRPG, not a point and click adventure. I agree with him on that.
What's the CRPG?
computer RPG.
You point and click
It's
on your
point
people
click.
walk places, but yeah,
Okay,
they're
I
different.
point and click
They're
on a
different.
fucking
I'll
first-person
acknowledge they're
shooter.
different, but
Oh,
they have very
still-
similar senses to them. But yeah, I think
I don't
walking
I still don't really
sims-
know. I still don't really know what a computer RPG is.
Basically like Neverwinter Nights. There's like older, kind of slower, methodical RPGs that were like pretty much
Yeah.
exclusively on computers.
And they're still entirely based on clicks, but like a point and click adventure game is very much like you point to a place, you go to a new room, you figure out the puzzle,
Yeah.
you move on.
Usually you
Whereas
have
the
to combine items
CRPG,
that doesn't make any sense at all why you
Yeah,
would combine
yeah.
these two items,
Oh.
but somehow it solves the puzzle.
Professor Layton games are point and click adventures.
yeah, are those new?
I haven't played them. so
No,
I
no,
can't
they're not
really-
extremely new, but within the last
Monkey
10 years.
Island point and click adventure.
Yeah, Monkey Island is the classic example. Day of the Tentacle. Pretty much any LucasArts game made by Tim Schafer is
Yeah,
what that
that's
is.
exactly what it is.
One thing related to controls I want to bring up before we move on, cameras.
Ooh.
Cameras have not aged well. Let me
Oh.
fucking tell you.
Cameras of
Yeah.
last generation have not aged well. Like,
This is coming. Listen. 3 of my top 5 favorite games are from the PS2 GameCube era. I have gone back and replayed all of them within the past year or two. The cameras suck in every single one of them.
yeah.
The rest of the game ages like wine. The camera ages like milk. Holy fuck.
The camera in Mario 64 is the worst part about that game.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, that
Uh,
camera's
I can-
bad.
In my head, I can hear the like the panning sound, and I can hear that of like
Of
you
being
can't
stuck
move the
against
camera
the wall.
anymore. Yeah.
I mean, even Mario Galaxy 1 has a very janky camera.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's mind-boggling to me as like a kid going from PS1 to PS2 to be like, man, the cameras have gotten better. And then going from PS2 to PS3, like, man, the cameras have gotten better. PS3 to PS4, cameras are still getting better. And then I go back and look at PS1, I'm like, holy how did I play some of these games?
Oh, dude. I tried to play Ape Escape 1 recently. And I was like, this is
no.
like that was like the first game to be like, we're using both of the analog sticks. Fucking mind-blowing technology. Oh. And it's the camera's just it's ape shit.
The camera is oh god damn it. You're on a roll today, dude.
Yeah, what can I say?
The camera is one of the least problems with that game. But like I think just anecdotally for like some of my favorite games, Psychonauts and Beyond Good and Evil from the PS2 era. I recently platinumed Psychonauts. Let me tell you, the last level of that game, with how shitty the camera is, can go fuck itself.
Yeah,
The
it's
camera will literally go to the wrong side of a thing that you need to get across, and it's just like... And then you do a thing because the camera shifted so badly, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You just die for 30 minutes straight. Definitely not anecdotal. Definitely not anecdotal.
Mastering the camera is just another element of the gameplay.
There you go.
No, the camera gets stuck.
Like I said, dude, that's your movement.
Oh,
Bad
man.
movement. Your camera.
Oh, another camera thing. Again, this is only because I've played these very recently from the Uncharted games. When you like go into a room and the camera just all of a sudden fucking shifts to a different perspective.
Yeah.
I'm glad that for the most part games have gotten past that bullshit, but it took like 3 generations of games to get past that bullshit. Where it's just like, oh, you're walking straight. Now the camera moved over here and it's kind of in a different spot. So straight means right. Sorry. Like,
yeah, and you kind of like walk into the wall, or sometimes you'll walk back out of the room because you're just holding the direction, and it's like, wow.
And you're still
That was a good
supposed to
spot.
somehow get like pinpoint precision platforming during that entire sequence too, when the camera shifts like 3 times. Like, fuck off, old games with that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other ones coming to the top of your guys' mind?
Like still on controls? Or...
No. Just in general stuff that's aging games.
I mean, I think it's worth talking about elements of story that have just sort of naturally aged out because I have two
Hit
big
me with an
examples
example.
that I will. Okay, so the first one, Far Cry 3,
Okay.
very very fun game.
Mhm.
But you are literally some SoCal white guy who goes to a tropical island, and at the end, the indigenous people consider you their god. It is some of the most horrific white savior complex
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
will ever see in a game.
That's
Indigenous
kind of
people
true.
literally declare your SoCal douchebag ass their god at the end, and I'm like, oh, and I played this game like 5 years ago. I'm like, holy shit,
Oh.
this is terrible. This is
I'm
white
not.
savior.
I'm not diminishing how bad that is with what I'm about to say. Just to make that clear, doesn't that game have like 3 different endings too?
I mean, when they want to make you their god, you can change how you react to it because they want you to like sacrifice your friends to become their god,
Yeah.
and you can choose to do that or resist them. But the
Mm.
point is that they still, at some point, want to make you their god.
Mm.
But I thought you could choose like a side at the end or something.
Not
might
in
be misremembering.
3. Not in 3, I
mean-
don't think.
I do remember the one ending, which I'm not going to mention, but god damn that ending.
I mean, it's Far Cry 3 is like a 10-year-old game. You're okay.
I just don't even want to talk about it.
Okay. That's fine.
And then the other one I want to mention is The Witcher 1.
Oh,
yeah.
this was
so
for
if-
story elements. Okay.
Yeah. So in that game, obviously, Geralt can sleep with lots of NPCs.
Oh, the card mechanic. Yeah.
Witcher 1 had something called romance cards or
Oh,
a sex
no.
card, which means for whenever you slept with an NPC, you got a trading card to commemorate boning them. And they have like
Just like real life.
some basically some softcore lewd artwork on them, and at fucking age real bad. It's
Yeah.
it's real grody. Like
Yeah.
it's as it's grody.
Does it sound bad? Because it is bad.
Yeah.
It's like it is handled in the least tasteful way possible, and it is just sexist as all get out.
Let me put this one to you guys, because I think this genre has kind of died, or at least it's just like rhythm games. It's completely dropped off, with like 1 or 2 exceptions. RTS games.
Ooh.
Apart from like if someone's playing an RTS game nowadays, they're going back and playing StarCraft 2.
Or Age of Empires.
Age of
Yeah,
Empires
yeah,
is
yeah,
up
yeah.
there.
But there's no like new great RTS games being made.
Total War series, sort of.
Yeah, I guess that does kind of count.
But no one's making ones that aren't sequels at this point. No one's trying to make no one's trying to make a brand new RTS. They're remastering and updating or sequeling current ones, which I think lends to Zach's point.
Rusty in the chat says StarCraft has aged well. Command and Conquer controls have aged poorly. I can't even comment on that because I have not played those games.
I didn't think Command and Conquer controls aged that badly. They're not great, but they're not horrible. I honestly don't think it's an aging problem with most RTSs. I think it's a market problem with most RTSs. Where you're limited, as Halo Wars 1 and 2 have shown, you're pretty much limited to the PC market with those. And most big companies just aren't down for that.
I mean, I would argue that the RTS genre has kind of evolved into MOBAs, but that's a whole different conversation. I think most of the people who enjoyed RTSs back in the day have kind of moved on to playing some MOBAs.
Yeah, I think people have. And I definitely think they compete, but I don't think that's an aging problem. I think it's just like the market is really small for that type of game.
Yeah, I think it got oversaturated for how small it was, and now no one wants to try and fight into it anymore.
And I think it kind of separated. I think a lot of the RTS people have gone to like MOBAs or the team-based shooters. And I think a different part of that audience has moved on to like grand strategy games like Hearts of Iron, all the Paradox stuff, Hearts of Iron, Europa Universalis.
I just want to go on the record by saying that I fucking hate grand strategy games. I fucking hate them. I cannot stand them. They are so not fun to play. You have to invest like 20 plus hours to even understand a base level of the game, and I just get out of here. I do not care.
Which is why I think that RTS space has fractured into different groups.
Yeah.
Where the people that were hard on the strategy of RTS have shifted to grand strategy, whereas the people who were really about the real time,
the moment to moment
gameplay have more switched to MOBAs, and even
That's fair.
to a degree, I would argue Mountain Blade is a good example of a pseudo RTS. The single player mode, not the multiplayer. Not the multiplayer, but the single player.
Yeah.
Reliant K-Fan mentioning Civ. That's not RTS. Turn-based strategy, which is still going strong as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
wait, it's still the grand strategy?
No, grand strategy is generally just
it's
super complicated
point,
systems. But... yeah. Civ is like a grand strategy game light with turns. Most like the big grand strategy games don't have turns.
That's true.
It's just like kind of going all the time. It's like it's almost active time battle where it's just time's passing.
I don't think I've ever heard of that genre or seen any games like that. That's interesting.
You kind of have to look for them.
Yeah, there's not super many of them, but like the people who play them hardcore because you have to invest just ridiculous hours. It's like playing League of Legends. You have to like legitimately play this game for 100 hours to even understand, and most of the time you're playing it single player. So like, it's just not fun. It's just oh god, I hate them.
See, I love the grand strategy games, but they take up so much time that I can't allow myself to play them. Because I'm one of those dudes who will just stay up till 6 in the morning on a work night if I play one of those at night. And that's not good for your mental health, guys. Or your physical health. It's just not good for any health. Ian in the chat, Total War is considered grand strategy. It is Total War is a series that is both. The overworld is grand strategy, whereas the actual battles themselves are RTS. It is a combination of the two. Anything else?
I guess the question is that so when we're talking about these different genres that aren't kind of popular anymore for whatever reasons, I think is it because that they just age poorly, or is it kind of people get fatigued with that genre?
I think that's definitely...
I'm not playing FPS games at the moment, but I played the mess out of them as a kid, and I can go back and play every once in a while. But I take like some breaks, and here's a new one. I'll try it out since I'm sort of familiar with FPS games. But
I think it depends. I think if you can like go back and play one of them and be like, this is still good, then it's less of an aging and more of like maybe there just got to be too many. I'm trying to think of
oversaturation.
Yeah, I think right now we're getting to like an oversaturation of like MOBAs and hero shooters and stuff where there's just there's so many of them that I think we're gonna reach a point where people get sick of them. I don't think we're there yet, but I think we're gonna reach a point that happens, and like at that point, like 10 years from now, we might be saying hero shooters are don't age well for whatever reason.
Well, do you think... I expect to be making that point in 10 years.
I imagine we'll say the same thing with Battle Royale.
I already think Overwatch is aged poorly, and it's not that old.
No, that's why they're going to make Overwatch 2 and save the game.
That's going to age poorly.
They're not even changing the base game.
No. I was reading a list of like games that have aged poorly that were considered great at the time, and somebody listed Elder Scrolls Oblivion there, and I agree. I'm just trying to decide why I think that game has aged poorly, and it could be mechanics. It could be. I think the level up system in that game sucks ass.
I didn't play that one.
Me neither.
The story is cool, but like, I can't. The controls in Elder Scrolls games
not good.
Suck. They suck so hard. The combat is the least fun thing in the world, and that game it's combat.
Yeah, I think that's true. I'm trying to think. I think some... Sorry, I lost my thought there. I think some old like platformers don't age well, even if they're like the genre is still around. I think. I'm trying to think of other ones that don't age well. But Oblivion, I would say, is probably mostly controls.
I think it's a combination of controls and mechanics.
Yeah, like I think even of Skyrim having honestly a lot of the same controls as Oblivion from what I've understood.
It did.
Of like melee combat in that game just is. I know there's a ton of people out there that still play Skyrim and fucking love it, love the controls, have no problems with it. But for a wider audience, like they're janky. You basically have to like run up, hit, walk backwards to dodge.
It looks janky, just as somebody who doesn't really play games but watches them. It's like, where's
the big swing? Like, plus because all you're doing in that game too, to try and dodge the hits, you're like just hitting forwards and back as you swing.
Yeah,
you're like move forward, swing, step backwards, move forward. You're just doing this over and over again on the controller.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
And I think, and like the hitboxes for that game, like you can't jump over anything that gets fired at. You can't duck to dodge things.
Also, there's no feedback when you hit something. Your enemy doesn't like recoil or like take a hit. They're just like, "Gah."
They yell sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, they'll yell. They're like, "Ah."
You see the health bar go down a little bit, and then they just keep going. It's like, all right.
I mean, there's like certain attacks that'll stagger them, but yeah, for the most part, no. And sometimes I hate that shit. Just like that in Last of Us Part 2 when I get shot randomly and like I just go flying back 3 feet. Like shot by a pistol in like the arm.
Oh, I dig that.
Break.
I'm fine with that.
Some of the times I'm fine with it. Other times I'm like, this is
it's annoying, but it's also like, yeah, I got shot, so that sucks.
Yeah.
Side note, it does feel great when you get shot to the ground and then you pull out your pistol and you just shoot the person who shot you while you're still on your
that
back.
part does feel
that
good,
feels great.
That part does feel great. I agree with that one.
You stole that from Max Payne, dude. That's not their mechanic to use, those fucks.
I'm gonna be real. The video game industry is a bunch of just people stealing ideas from each other.
Oh, every industry. That's
kind of true.
What do you think this show is based on?
I don't. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is a completely original idea. Nothing here, period, was ever taken from anyone else.
3 dudes with glasses talking about video games. Another one who just happens to not have glasses. That's never been done before, folks. You're watching history in the making.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. How many people sit down and talk about aging games?
I got one thing I want to talk about.
Oh yeah,
one thing I want to pose to you guys as well. Star Wars Squadrons is coming out, right?
Oh,
flight game. My uncle was talking to me. He's like, "Hey, the whole family's getting this game. You want to play with us?" And I was like, "Didn't we like play this game already? Like a half a dozen times with every fight sim? What do you call fight pilot? What are those dog fighting games? I don't know." I'm like, haven't we already played like dogfighting games? What are they adding that you can, like, what better communication, better graphics, higher FPS? I'm like, I played what Crimson Skies? Isn't that like?
I was about to say Crimson Skies.
Crimson Skies, baby. That we need to remake of that one.
Has there been a truly good dogfighting game in a while though?
Crimson Skies. In a while.
That was Xbox. That was like, the first Xbox.
Like, they keep releasing new Ace Combat games. I think Squadrons might work because there hasn't been a good one in a while.
Yeah.
I think...
Especially on Star Wars.
Apart from the people playing Ace Combat, that's...
Yeah, I think that's kind of
like
true.
A different breed.
And there hasn't been a good Star Wars one since, I mean, again, Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2 had decently fun space battles, and there's a Rogue Squadron 3, but I feel like it's been a while since we've got to pilot Star Wars ships.
It's been
I feel like that's trying to bank on like you haven't had fun flying Star Wars ships in a while.
They had some cool stuff from the trailer I saw. Like it's more of a sim and like you don't really have a HUD. It's the actual ship itself, which is a lot more sim than we're used to for Star Wars games.
Yeah, I have weird thoughts on that. I'll have to see how it plays, but
yeah, me too on that one. But I think they have some cool mechanics that they can use that they showed a little bit in one of the trailers with like it's 0G, their spaceships, it's the distant past future. So like they had some cool maneuvers where like you can stop and like do a 180 pivot if you know what you're doing, which is not really, you can sort of do that with a lot of the other flight sims, but not to the degree that I think they're pushing this one to get to. So I think there could be a lot of cool elements, and they also have a class system sort of built into it. And objectives, which adds some more stuff that's not in most light combat
One
games.
thing Rusty does bring up is voice acting, and I think that is definitely a thing that can age
Like,
a game.
Yeah, that much like graphics, that won't really like kill a game for me. But man, as someone who like watches a lot of older anime at times too, oh man, dude,
Dapper.
old voice work just is sometimes so
I mean,
hilarious.
there's
and
a reason why we
bad.
love it, but like it also like you can't take a game like that seriously. Like I'm not gonna watch Resident Evil 1 cutscenes and be like, you were almost a Jill sandwich, and be like, wow, that was a
that was
like
really good
said,
timing.
"You're
It
almost a
was
Jill sandwich."
almost at the exact same time chat put that as you were saying it.
Great minds think alike, man. And like even what is a man? Like there's so many great lines from that time. I can infinitely quote Star Fox 64, but like actually I think two of you will agree with me on this. Tales of Symphonia. Yeah, you didn't play Tales of Symphonia. That was like one of the first games I remember that was like super huge in scope and had so much of the script fully voice acted that I was super impressed by that. And I was like, this is the future of games. And fun fact, it kind of was the future of games.
And
nowadays,
most of the dialogue voice acting ages well. Not all of it, but that's more of a voice actor choice than anything.
It's more what it does annoy me when a game has large segments that are voice acted and then like randomly it'll have some stuff that isn't. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like,
all right, guys, I'm posting something in the chat for this Discord, which is like a 4-second clip from Mortal Kombat 4, and it's amazing.
Can you post it in Twitch so I can open it?
Oh no,
I can't actually get to the Discord chat right now.
Wait, where did you need me to post it?
Twitch.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Wait, what? He does not say that.
No, he doesn't. But tell me it does not sound like he does. Like, tell me 100% that does not sound like that's what he's yelling as he gets thrown off.
I mean that's so long, Gay Bowser. You know, like that's just another.
All right, let's chat. You'll be able to hear this. One sec. You won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear it. Oh, that's
Rusty.
That's bad.
Rusty put up the Titus laughing bit.
Okay, the Titus laughing bit.
We're not gonna get into it.
It was intentionally bad. Okay,
it's out of context.
Intentionally bad. The one I was gonna bring up actually is fucking Sonic Adventure.
Oh, it's so bad.
Like,
it's incredibly bad.
I'm a person who enjoys watching cringy, bad old movies for fun. And Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2 are so bad that I don't enjoy the voice acting.
Like, yeah, man. I think of some of the iconic lines from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
They're bad. They're so awful.
You're the faker.
I'll make you eat those words.
I'll make you eat those words.
There's
because
one of my
because you just told me, fox boy.
I will never forget. One of my favorite things was if you died on the final boss of Sonic Adventure 2 and you fall to Earth. If you have subtitles on, either Sonic or Hedgehog, or Sonic or Shadow, I can't remember who it is. It'll say Gutha, like Gutha. But what they're saying is like, ah! But it'll be like Gutha is what they say across the bottom of the screen. Like, who says Gutha? That's also not what they're saying. They're saying, ah!
Gutha. That's exactly what that means.
Speaking of another funny voice acting thing, I know we're running long on this, but in Bravely Default, one of the characters, because that game is fully voice acted, one of the characters, when they get mad, they say "Murgurger," like they're like growling kind of, but the voice actor literally goes "Murgurger," and they do it like 5 times across the whole game. Like it's a running joke that like they say "Murgurger," and it just cracks me up because it makes no sense. Let me see if I can find this. Anyways, go on.
I don't know that I have a ton of other ones, honestly. Anyone else have anything coming to mind to them right now?
terms of shit that ages.
Or even stuff that's just like, hey, anytime you do this, it will be timeless.
Oh, things that make a game timeless.
Like, real brief, we're running a little long, so I won't take forever on it. But
I mean, RPG mechanics are in every game now. Boom.
yeah, those. Yeah, they can be overused, but that's not an age thing.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you're the first person to do something, you're probably going to be timeless in one way or another.
Yeah.
I do kind of agree with that.
I mean, I think that's kind of why Shadow of the Colossus, even with its bad controls, is able to be timeless, because I don't think we'd ever had such a boss, like such a game like that before.
Mhm.
Like, all you do is fight whatever number of giant bosses and nothing else.
It's a 16.
Okay.
16.
Was GoldenEye not the first like FPS though?
Not the first, I don't think, but I think it was.
No, I mean,
I don't think it's the first.
No. Sorry, first 3D FPS.
Oh,
I still think no.
well, I mean, like polygons rendered, not like sprite work.
I mean, completely 3D, where like, because the old Dooms, you're just in a hallway. There's no.
No, I mean,
like,
you can turn
stuff. No, I mean,
circle.
there's no like elevation and things. Like, that's still 2-dimensional. They faked the 3D, but like it's still.
I mean, I think you can walk up steps in that game, can't you?
I don't think that's what
Oh
you mean.
yeah, that's not what I mean. But
Mhm.
I get why this is confusing for me to actually explain. But I mean, like 3D rendered where, and on a console too. It might be the first console FPS. That might be
In that case,
better.
not sure.
Yeah, we're not the guys we.
I just mean like,
off the top of our head.
because like the whole control thing, first person to do something, an FPS on a PC, even back then, was you point and you click on it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas as soon as you move to console, that's where it gets weird. And if GoldenEye was the first, boy, did it still not age well.
That's a good point.
It's not timeless. Look back on it fondly, but don't ever try and play.
Yeah, maybe not timeless in the sense that you can, go back and play it, but you look at it like, oh, thank God this existed.
Yeah.
Because now we have Halo, Call of Duty.
James Bond walks so Master Chief could run, you know? You know, Spartan is just looking back there and he's like, I'm going to finish the fight.
Finish the fight.
God bless Master Chief.
Oh man.
Guy.
The only one I can really 100% think of is like good platforming, where you land is where you are. It's like Mario type things and pixel art.
Man, I don't like pixel art. I really, really don't like pixel art.
Dude, I love
I mean, that's like a personal taste thing, but like
That is a personal taste thing.
pixel art. I think the best example of this is the recent remasters of the old Final Fantasy games, where they actually repainted all the sprites, and the game looks worse because they didn't use like the original pixel art.
Classic.
So that's the only really good example I can think of on that one. Yeah, I think that's all I got. Anyone else have anything before we close the show here?
Oh, I think we've been talking for long enough on this.
Yeah. Games are cool, but they can get old and not be as fun to play.
Through that.
That's all I got on that one. Finish the fight.
Finish the fight, baby. Hell yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
I wish I could do a flawless Master Chief impression. I'm gonna have to work on that.
Oh
Cortana.
man.
Keep working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs some
Hi,
work
why don't
still.
you give us your Joker?
God.
impression?
Damn it. End the episode quick. Fuck.
All right. Anyone
I'm gonna
got
find this for everybody in the chat.
any plugs or anything people need to go look up after this episode?
No.
Watch our video essays while we're gone.
Yeah, that's true. Watch our video essays. I'm working on a thing
Yeah.
that'll go up
Mizuki's doing a thing.
hopefully this week. Should I just admit it and then have to actually do it? I feel like I should.
Yes.
All right, so I'm not done with the game yet, but I'm gonna do my own Last of Us Part 2 review.
Yes.
Like full length,
Fuck
talk about it. We've been talking about it in Discord a little bit, and I think once I finish it, we'll dive into some more discussions, and I'll be able to bring some of those insights to the review too. So look forward to that one. It'll be interesting because at the point I'm at now, I'm not hot or cold on the game, which is very different from I think most of the reviews. Either people love it or they hate it. So we'll see. We'll see where I land. I'm not to the controversial parts of the game yet.
Yeah, if we could do like a meta commentary on the commentary of the game as soon as this episode is over, I would love that.
I would love that too.
Oh yeah, and who knows if people want it, maybe we'll do an actual like spoiler cast where we all discuss like on camera what our thoughts are.
Love that too.
So I think that'd be fun. Maybe we'll do that for the next episode because that'll be in like 2 weeks when everybody's back. Well, I think that's all for Around the Controller for today.
I think we're good here though. So
See you next time on Around the Controller. Please go watch our other stuff.
peace out. Thank you.